hoping for a second win, which will bring them an short trip to DreamHack. That's what we're going to take a look at and see if Enemy can secure it. Enemy Denial, game 2.
Oh, but PandaCat with rotation. Desert's Fury on point.
Yo, PandaCat is on fire right now.
Purification forced by Homie FA. Homie FA tried to make it work, but Khaos definitely making it work. Morrowind takes a spill. 4 kills in total for Enemy. Here
Actually
comes
going
Enemy.
to end.
They're going to skip the Phoenix. The surprise win from Enemy. Luminosity had no idea. Enemy versus Denial. Some of the spicier competition we've got here this week, this month, this split, this Memorial Day. Enemy will have a first pick and first ban, and they'll say no to Circuit.
When I was looking at the matchups for this week, I looked at this one specifically, and I thought to myself, this has got to be the matchup of the week. And that first game definitely dictated, I would say, a lot of back and forth, up and downs for both these two teams, despite their records being a little bit different. I would have to say that game shows anything but, and these two teams are very close and similar to their playstyle.
I mean, it's stupid fun. This is why we watch the SPL, right? The game was even as hell for the majority of the early to mid game. Then the mid game, Enemy goes, or Denial go ahead and take a lead, a commanding lead, and then the opportunity to answer back from Enemy is by way of the Gold Fury, which Denial take away, and Denial are in the driver's seat. They're looking pretty. And then Enemy, couple of back doors, a nice dola, and all of a sudden, Enemy's now in the lead. They take the game, and now they're leading the series 1-0. Janus is the selection next to Athena for Denial.
Janus onto Khaos. He played Zeus late game very beautifully. Struggled a little bit earlier on. He was about 2 levels behind Xenotronics, but it didn't matter because it was a late game Zeus. You always have to watch out for that. And now, banning the Zeus away themselves and picking up Janus puts them in a really interesting spot.
Artemis.
Gonna have that aggressive Artemis with the Janus portals to make sure that she gets away from any sort of danger. Denial gonna respond, however, with some globals on their side, picking up the Athena and the Thor.
I love to see just how quick. I mean, so the Janus is selected, and Enemy's like, all right, they didn't ban out Artemis. Nobody's gonna waste the ban on Artemis. They didn't select it. Panda. Just immediate recognition. The Artemis Sobek lane. You mentioned Cupid Sobek as one of the more devastating lanes from yesteryear. You played on a Dignitas roster that abused Artemis Sobek.
We definitely like to explore a lot of late game hyper carries, whether it was on Zaman, whether it was on the best. Artemis was a very good option for us. We had a lot of Guardians also on top of that to make sure that the Artemis would be able to stay alive in teamfights. Sometimes Aphrodite was very important as well. In the dual lane, we used to explore, experiment with that kind of a strategy, and it definitely worked out. The late game Artemis is nothing to forget about.
And we've seen PandaCat do it once or twice. Denial finish up their lineup as well, as far as the first half is concerned. Athena, Thor, and Soul.
Xenotronics could potentially play Soul mid. Vetium as well has been known to explore with some Souls. There's a lot of options available to both these two teams. And now after that first game, the Denial is just like, okay,
stop it.
You got us the first game. Never again.
No okie dokes allowed. The Bastet will be banned out. Now that is definitely the first Bastet ban of Season 3, but for good reason. Denial just don't want... The reason Denial lost that game is probably not Bastet, but Bastet put Enemy in the position to win the game. So Denial don't want to give Enemy any more tools, as Enemy already have Khaos as Janus, PandaCat's Artemis, and they're going to go ahead again and allow Marauder to pick the Cabrakan.
It's going to be good defense coming out of Enemy, having the Cabrakan, the way his aura works, is going to keep Artemis alive a little bit more. And now, you don't have the Bastet for the backdoor. You know what other option you have?
Oh, no way.
You have the Loki.
This is the... Okay. All right.
Never mind.
That
hover.
That was going to be the most... If that was...
I was hyped.
I
was waiting.
If that was Denial, they would have locked it in. Because Denial, that's the meme team, right? They're going for the ha-ha-has. Enemy, they want to get the DreamHack real quick. Not to say that Denial's not trying to win here. But I definitely think Denial would have been like, you ban one, we'll go the other, split push strategy.
Yeah, split push strategy would have definitely been interesting to see. Second game in a row coming out of Enemy. Denial going to finish off their roster, picking a very aggressive soul lane, a Ravana for Benji.
And I like this draft from Enemy. Enemy has really sort of gone the paradigm route where they understand the meta picks, they understand what's acceptable, and then they branch out and find their own I don't want to say comfort picks, they find their own team identity. The Artemis, the Bracken, the Arachne, these are characters that we have seen them out of enemy before, and we have seen them be successful. Will it be successful enough to take the team all the way from North America, all the way across the pond to a performance at Sweden? That's what we're here to find out, folks. Game number 2, right at you.
Still looking to go in. Benji made it out. Xenotronics over the wall. We'll take out Ionic. And now dashing Porno. Xeno finds a double kill. Mace in the face, turning back around. Master the jungle though. He just two-shot him. Gonna look to try and dash away, but the ball's already there. And Benji recognizes that, doesn't use his dash. Ults in place, gets the stun. Turn around, kill 2v1.
Varizial on this Arachne. He's played this god once or twice before in the Smite Pro League, and it's a treat to watch because it's a little bit different, but it's still just this hyper-aggressive assassin that's looking for these kills and looking to really apply jungle pressure.
Yeah, you're looking for the mobility with the Arachne paired up with the Janus as well. This is what allows enemy to do their strategy and execution. You have the Janus mobility and the portals to disengage. You have the aggressiveness coming out of Arachne, out of the Cabrakan, out of the Blink Artemis, which we're more than likely going to see at level 12.
And we see Khaos a lot go for the aggressive Janus ultimates, and then what happens is he either gets the target or he doesn't, but either way he provides safe passage for the rest of the team, and right now Mass can't find safe passage. He gets taken down all the way to 5 HP or less, and Varizial just going to walk confidently into the jungle, knowing that he's pushed out the enemy just a little bit.
So trading 1-for-1 mid Harpies as Xenotronics was able to get left sides in the dual lane. Very aggressive positioning coming out of enemy, able to control that laning phase as well. Overall, so far favoring enemy, forcing the purification level 2 for Mass. Now it's going to allow more aggression coming out of Varizial.
You know, it's interesting for Denial here. Xenotronics, I think, is a fantastic traditional mage player. He plays the Zeuses and the Januses very, very well. And the nice dodge out of the Xenotronics, but he's in trouble here. Going to dodge out some of the portal, but a lot of trouble as Mass shows up. And First Blood with the Benji rotation early on, 1:30 on the clock, and we see the solo lane come all the way around. Varizial now going to purify out the slow. Smart play, and he'll be safe. But the early rotation proves fruitful for Denial, and the first kill goes the way of the Robin.
However, with that rotation, there's going to be a lot of gold and experience denied. And Cabrakan is going to try to prevent the rotation from Benji coming back in with potentially going to miss out the stun, however.
And Benji just very interested in these last 2 minions worth of gold. He'll pick up at least 1 with respects to the gold.
And the experience lead right now for Marauder. He's about to hit level 5 off this wave, and Benji's not going to hit 5 yet.
So the Tremors will lock everybody in. Benji able to fight into it. Marauder actually loses more HP than he takes, but he answers right on back with some high damage poke.
And he does have the Mark of the Vanguard, which is going to allow him to still play aggressive like that against the whole wave. Right now, Ravana doesn't do that much damage to the point where he has to worry about the burst, especially if he can clear the wave first. He's going to clear the wave and do damage to Benji at the same time, and that's the definition of being a very efficient solo lane god.
There's Marauder. Just poke it one more time. Now going to look for the Tremors again. And Benji taking a lot of damage from that. It's very interesting because Marauder doesn't even have to level that. We see the second ability leveled usually.
Just have to respect the damage and disengage. And now Benji's going to force the wave under his own tower, unfortunately. Going to lose a bit of more gold and going to take some damage from the archers as the rest of enemy are going to do their own fire giant imps.
So enemy get the second rotation of those imps, allowing Marauder to maintain the lead that he's gotten thanks to the early... It's funny. Thanks to Benji getting First Blood, Marauder has the lead.
It's interesting sometimes because like that early of a rotation, it did secure First Blood, which is going to benefit the middle and jungle synergy, looking at Xenotronics already level 6, but it hurts you in response. So you get an advantage one way, but a slight disadvantage in another.
Well, keep in mind, if Benji shows up, Xenotronics is dead meat.
Yes.
That soul was in a very poor spot just because of the aggression coming out from enemy. So Denial, the rotation from Benji, important for the team. And as you said, honestly, that's kind of what the soul lane does, right?
That's kind of what you need to do right now, is you have to control your experience more than anything else. Setting up that first blood is nice. However, you always have to take into consideration, if you're behind, what are you going to lose after being behind? And if Marauder gets that level advantage, he could potentially solo Benji or maybe steal the blue buff away, similar to how he found a solo kill earlier on the last game.
Yeah, Marauder wound up with a couple of solo kills in that short lane, thanks to the Cabrakan and what he was able to do against Benji's Sun Wukong. Is the Ravana going to be a better choice to deal with the Cabrakan?
It's going to be a lot easier to disengage from the tremors. You just use your overhead kick away from it, and you can sustain a little bit better than the Sun Wukong consistently throwing out your third ability for that heal after the wave comes close to your tower. So Benji should be in a better position to hold off the Cabrakan in the early game.
Certainly will need it, as Marauder was a big part of what allowed enemy to stay relevant in that early to mid game on that Cabrakan. And then close out the game a little bit with some assistance. Taunted forward as PainDeViande and the dash quickly, as the pluck was definitely in the cards. Well played by the Athena.
Denal was very worried about that pluck from coming out. Athena going to find the taunt and going to force an instant disengage from Master as well. His purification was available, but why would you want to use it this early in the laning phase? You want to be able to be the aggressors, and that's why Denal picked up the Thor. They want to find these plays, and they want to be the ones to force the purifications.
I love the sprint pickup from Athena, just allowing his team to get away from that Arachne. Definitely a devastating choice. If Arachne gets on the wrong side of you, you're pretty much toast.
And right now, Marauder has to be very careful about his mana expenditure. He did clear the wave, and he's not going to have to worry, as there's going to be plenty of time for him to rotate back. Finishing off his Shoes of the Magi as well is going to allow him to be even a bigger bully in the laning phase. And we see a boxing match, level 8 PandaCat right now against level 7 Vetium.
Both of these characters have crit before the items. On the Jing way, it's going to be on the steroid, on the explosive bolts. On PandaCat, it's just a little bit natural thanks to the passive. So both of these characters have the opportunity to just surprise, big hit each other. So both of these characters are going to be looking for the boxing matches.
And both these characters currently sitting with red buff on them. They're trying to find any which way poke that they can, favoring PandaCat a little bit if he can find his third ability online. And now Vetium, taking advantage of the space that PandaCat is giving up right now, is a good way for Vetium to take advantage. And now he could potentially rotate, but it's going to elect to back instead.
And so he backs in vision of enemies PandaCat here. Is that intentional?
It could be, potentially, as we do see his passive being used just to get back to the lane very quickly, as those back Harpies did spawn. Not going to elect to take advantage of that. Vetium could have done those back left Harpies and then cleared the wave.
He just wants to get to the wave as quick as possible, push it up a little bit. Shadowq taunt off the mark. PainDeViande just dancing a little bit out of range of the Athena. So no harm, no foul. Marauder will continue to clear the wave. And it's a relatively quiet game here, folks. 6.5 on the clock to now lead by way of first blood. But this is a tie game. Everything all even. Nobody really able to find capitalization anywhere.
Similar to the first game right now, you know, enemy doing their own speed buff. Not going to find the speed buff invades right now. They're just waiting for the right opportunity. However, PainDeViande is still constantly looking for an aggression and initiation for his team, which is going to allow a lot of follow-up.
And Shadowq as well finds a taunt onto the mid lane. Arachne, down comes Thor, and now we've got a team fight, folks. PainDeViande gonna find the flip onto Mask, damage from the mid lane, and the ultimate comes out. It'll be off the mark, but Varizial certainly is an enemy on the board. It's 1-1.
Beautiful 1 for nothing there in the favor of enemy. PandaCat gonna walk over that Gus just to actually calculated use just to get back to the lane a little bit quicker. Doesn't care about the damage.
Just walking in the direction of the lane. I like that from PandaCat. Just having some fun, Tolly.
Just having a little bit of fun right now as Varizial coming around the corner. Going to poke out Benji a little bit. 2-level disparity. Going to slow him as well. Marauder going to look for the stun potentially, but going to get juked out.
And Varizial staying on target. Half HP for the Arachnid. And now going to turn around as you see Benji turn around. Varizial wants to stay here, but he probably shouldn't. Just going to clear out the blue buff for now.
And Benji, with a blue buff of his own, is why he's being this aggressive. Recognizing that Marauder doesn't have blue buff means that he can put pressure on the lane and then try to find a contest. That's what he was doing, and that's why he came around the corner initially.
There's so much information involved in this game, Totally. It's so interesting to see players notice that, okay, he doesn't have a blue buff, which means the blue buff is still alive, so the jungler is going to be on the right side of the map. I need to be aware of that. I can't get ganked, but if I provide some pressure of my own, then I can go ahead and pick up the blue buff. It's always so interesting how many options there are, or how many avenues there are, but just by having one piece of information or lack thereof, Solo lane doesn't have blue buff.
And that's why these players are playing at the highest level of the SPL. Enemy very close to clinching at DreamHack. Denial can still make a run of their own if they continue to win out and then make sure that they win against Eager specifically in the last remaining set that they have.
So as we come closer to 10 minutes, Denial still looking for that pre-10-minute Gold Fury because they know enemy certainly have it on their minds.
They're going to look for a dash taunt.
Shadowq, Varizial in trouble. Varizial right up into the ultimate, and he'll be safe.
Just good disengage overall using the Arachne ultimate to disengage. They could also use Chaos's ultimate to disengage whenever necessary. So there's a lot of disengage tools available for enemy, as well as aggressively if they decided to do that.
Opting not to, instead, Denial will opt for the Gold Fury. Aggression a little bit, walled off his PainDeViande. He'll still find the knockup though. But now it's not available.
PandaCat is around the corner, sitting level 12, didn't back to base quite yet to pick up that second relic through space and time, not on the mark on anybody. However, enemy could potentially go through those portals and look for engage.
PandaCat now rushing forward. Doesn't have the steroid available to him, as you heard it being used. And now enemy going to go ahead and look towards the gold. Denial are still all here though. This is a dangerous one. The pig is popped. And you see the ultimate out of Cabrakan to wall off the enemy. Well played. So enemy will get the first gold tier of the game at 9.5, almost 10 minutes in.
And are we really surprised that enemy gets another early Gold Fury, extending their lead to about 2,500 experience and 2,000 gold?
I mean, both of these teams are the early Gold Fury teams. It's funny because last year we would have said the exact same thing about Denial. Varizial's in trouble, doesn't have the ultimate available to him this time. Got to get bailed out by Pain. And that's going to be good enough. Khaos and Pain go up, and Varizial go down.
Curse was used by PainDeViande, allowing the disengage. Very well done. Shadowq going to pick up the speed buff, so the successful invade available for Denial. Even though they did concede Gold Fury, they're always looking for whatever they could possibly take away from enemy. And that way, in that response, it was the speed buff this time around.
Look at the player damage from Soul, Anatoly. 3,000 damage. That's almost 700 more than what the Arachne's been able to bring. Now that's in the mid lane with only a single assist. Where's all the damage from Xeno going?
And right now, Xenotronics doing a wonderful job just disengaging from that. The pluck, unfortunately, was just a little bit too early, still in that immunity frame.
I love to watch this guy play. He's just so consistent.
And not only that, he's picking up the Runic Shield, trying to deal with the Soul, knowing and recognizing that he's going to be sitting in that mid lane for a very long period of time. If that was a Soul in the 100 position, more than likely he wouldn't be picking it up this early.
So Varizial going for the aggression on Xeno. Xeno tends to be very, very consistent. So we'll see the Runic Shield come out from the Arachne and the Cursed Blade.
It looks like he is going to go for a Witchblade as well, trying to top that off. So it doesn't matter if he's going to go onto Xeno or if he's going to go onto Vetium. Both of those options are going to be covered for him.
So just complete disallowment of the attack speed. Vetium, as you said, Vetium and Xeno, both the attack speed characters, as is Benji. All of these basic attack characters coming out. And we finally see the Runic Shield and the Witchblade choice.
PainDeViande not going to find an opportunity to set up his team for a kill.
Although selecting both on the same character is kind of interesting.
In one way, it depends on who's diving you also. You could be aggressive and try to kill the Soul in that situation. The attack speed auras do not stack. So what happens is, in this situation, you're going to be looking for one or the other. Obviously, you don't want to be getting hit by Xeno and Vetium at the same time. But either way, you're covering two different options at two different periods of times.
Very strange. Very strange. Their passive will not stack. Sometimes when we see these items built on different characters, it's because they're on either side of the team fight. So they don't stack, but they won't overlap either.
But at the same time, you're still reducing a lot of magical damage either way from Soul, which is very important. You don't want to get bursted by her ultimate.
And right now, trouble for enemy. As you can see, PainDeViande being bursted by everyone. His ultimate is popped, and he tried to get to the portal, but not going to happen in time. Vetium gets kill number 2 for Denial.
Beautiful gust coming out of Vetium, forcing Shadowq under the tier 1 tower just for a little bit there. Khaos getting hit by only the one side of the hammer, and now Denial are going to try to remain aggressive under the speed buff.
Varizial wanted to take one-on-one, but he didn't realize it's 1-on-3. Everybody from enemy show up. Marauder take out Mask on the side. The surprise Cabrakan is going to be a good play. And now Khaos trying to find the basics on top of Xeno. All he can find is the unstable. So the Soul will be out of the team fight, but Benji gets stunned out. Still trying to go for that speed. Not going to happen. And the taunt is good enough from enemy. Run away. Shadowq trying to get it, but the Blink Artemis shows up. Tusky stuns him out as well. And there's the follow-up. Panda, 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 Panda. Vetium takes out Varizial as well. And PandaCat's in trouble this time around. Double kill for the Denial Hunter as Benji answers one more time.
Beautiful, preventing the Khaos from going through the portal. However, the option was covered around the corner. PainDeViande going to get knocked up, and that's going to be a disengage. Actually, Mass is going to keep on aggressing, going to pin Marauder against the wall just for a little bit. The chase under the tier 1 tower is going to be good. Finding another kill. So far, it's been a 1-for-4 trade in the favor of Denial, and now they're going to go for this tier 1 tower.
Well played by Denial, identifying the opportunity that they have, taking and staying aggressive. A lot of damage being put onto Mask, but he'll stay alive. A great ultimate out of Athena allows the team to keep their jungler alive, allows the team to take out a tier 2 tower. And a fantastic job by the Wolfpack.
And that was an unofficial deicide. And also during that whole ordeal, Benji, after that team fight, gets more farm on the right-hand side, gets a wave, gets the blue buff as well, doesn't even care about getting this tier 1 tower. Blue buff, in this situation, just strips more gold away from the enemy.
It's just the lack of opportunity that enemy are going to be able to have. Denial now, again, find themselves a little bit in the lead, at least as far as momentum is concerned. All things pretty much equal, despite the kill differential. But Denial certainly have the wind in their sails, trying to keep their foot on the gas. You can see the pings coming out. Enemy are well aware that Denial shifting over to the left side of the map. Varizial forced into the ultimate very early on before the team fight. That's going to be an issue.
And this is the one problem that Arachne's occur every now and then. If you're out of position and get exploited, you're going to have to use that ulti defensively, especially when your Janus is not in a position to throw the portal in your face.
Well, so my question is, what does Arachne bring to team fights? How does an Arachne, not what does she bring, but how does the Arachne successfully take part in a team fight without being too vulnerable?
Well, with enemy's composition, they're going to be forcing the Janus mobility to allow the Arachne to get in a position to isolate somebody.
Mask is in trouble now. Got crit a little bit, and there's the ultimate out of the Janus. Just
So
barely
close.
gonna miss.
So close was that through space and time.
Still aggressing. Ping's coming out one more time as they notice that Benji is gonna be stuck in the mid lane. Enemy have the rotation and the knowledge, and a good dash away from Vetium while in the air, gonna minimize the pluck from Sobek.
Beautiful recognition, Vetium, understanding that he doesn't care if he gets plucked. He'll be able to use that agility to dash away from any sort of danger. Still holding on to his purification, not afraid of getting plucked.
Benji willing to fight 1v3 and gonna successfully do so. The taunt onto Marauder is strong, but Marauder's tankiness a little bit stronger, level 16 on the solo lane. Cabrakan, he'll be able to walk away from this engagement. Denial going to do anything but. They're starting up the Gold Fury, and enemy know all about it.
Enemy have to be very careful here. They don't
HP.
have the through space and time to disengage.
25% HP. Enemy going in. Marauder knocked up. Can't find the burst. And there's the airstrike from Vetium. Gold Fury has been leashed. Looking for the pure team fight is Denial and enemy. On the backside, Vetium trying to fight down PandaCat. Aussie's proc turn around, and there's the serve up. PandaCat doesn't see it though, so not going to take the fight. Benji jumps on top of PandaCat on the tier 1, and Benji gets credit for that. Marauder low going to go into the tremors, and he's going to get smoked out. Mask double kill for him. Chasing out the solo lane Cabrakan. Mask triple kill. He's got DreamHack in his sights, and he's certainly looking towards the Gold Fury as well. Denial clean up the team fight. 4 kills to 1, and they're going to pick up the Gold Fury on top of it all.
Beautiful CC, beautiful execution out of Xeno, and on top of that, Mask doing a lot of good cleanup towards the ending of that fight. Benji also being able to follow up off of the aggression from Vetium, making sure that PandaCat got isolated earlier on in that team fight, allowed the easy cleanup.
Now, Denial leading this game by 3,000 gold, give or take, and it's actually funny, that's the entire win that they got in that last one. Teamfight recap shows us that Denial winds up 2,000 gold on top of enemy thanks to that, and their lead is basically it's 3,000 gold. That entire exchange was why Denial's in the lead here. Now, last time around, we were reading the same book, but we followed a different Find Your Own Adventure page as there was a split push card on enemy side. What card do enemy play this time around to switch it up?
Right now, they're still not in a position where they have to pull out any cards right now. They could still be playing their own game and just wait for the right opportunities. Still control some vision right now. Unless Denial are going to be the ones playing aggressive right now, looking for some invades, then everything is still fine and kosher for enemy.
So Denial really need to look to get on the aggressive. They need to take this tiny lead that they have and spiral it into the aggression. And that's exactly what they're going to opt to do. Marauder in some trouble, surrounded by 3, and Benji Benji is going to make 4. He shows up on the right-hand side, but Marauder already 40% HP. He's got some support. PainDeViande shows up on the Sobek, and you can see Varizial the whole time just sitting on the outside waiting for the opportunity. And that's what Varizial is going to do here for Enemy. He's going to wait for Denial to get too aggressive.
And with that, Denial forced out 2 ultimates through Space and Time and the Cabrakan ultimate. So now Denial could still play aggressive in this situation, not having to worry about the transportation or the damage from through Space and Time.
So PandaCat just trying to finish his farm up. Level 17 on the Hunter, trailing by 2 levels and about 1,000 gold. Vetium has had a much stronger game this time around. 4-1-5 versus the 1-2-1. And of course, the Gold Fury certainly not making things easy for PandaCat.
It seems like both these two teams love to put the red buff on their hunters, allowing them to try to take these little 1v1 skirmishes fights. And now the only situation difference is the fact that Denial have the Athena support.
And I think it's more about the players than the characters, honestly. Sometimes when I look at who gets the red buff, I think it's because of the mid mage, and it's an Isis or whatnot. It's more of a support mage or a more utility mage. Enemy in Denial, PandaCat wants to kill you. He's literally going to blink Artemis ult you. Vetium wants to kill you. Vetium loves to take these 1v1s. Khaos and Xeno they're happy to sort of sit on the outside, but these hunters are the aggressive ones. You can see it right away. You can hear PandaCat popping his steroid and popping Shadowq right in the face. Athena's going to fall down for 30 seconds. That's another kill going the way of Enemy. They've got 5 in total, but Denial still sitting strong. Enemy need to find the opportunity now that the support is down.
The easiest objective for them to control right now would be the tier 1 tower. Finding a block onto Benji, however, as he's going to overhead kick into the safety of his own tower. Going to switch to Vetium, going to force the purification out of him.
Marauder takes a large chunk of poke in that engagement. You can see the Cabrakan sitting about 40% HP. Everybody else healthy and welcome, and they're going to come on down to the mid lane tower. There's the pig, and it's going to get Benji in the overhand kick, so no stun available for PandaCat. The ultimate really just came out to create the space, allowing the team to pick up the tier 1 tower. Now the knockup onto PainDeViande. He might suffer for it. The shell and the tremors popped out by Marauder. Good play there to create some separation, and now Denial on the offensive. Portal popped, and Khaos safely transports his team away from danger.
Gold Fury is not up, but Fire Giant is. Denial are positioning themselves around it. Whether or not they actually commit to this is going to be a different story. It might bait somebody out of position from Enemy to allow Denial to get that pick.
Because Enemy are split up right now. If anybody shows up from Enemy to defend the Fire Giant, it's not going to be all 5 players. That's why Denial's trying to find this bait. They want to get Khaos and PandaCat coming in by themselves so they can 5-on-2 the enemies.
And now they're going to have to disengage as they wasted too much time, and that allowed Enemy to go back into base, heal up a little bit, and contest this Fire Giant very easily, able to secure their own speed and blue. And now, with a lot of members from Denial, can Enemy sneak a Fire Giant is the question.
PainDeViande's going to take away the vision to allow Enemy to be in the position to certainly do so.
Benji's going to back to base right now. Vetium went back to the mid lane with his passive. So that's something that enemies always have to consider. Even though Vetium is very low sometimes in teamfights, he's going to be easily able to get back into those teamfights with his passive.
Benji versus Marauder, returning to the solo lane. Tier 1 tower exists for Denial, but just barely, and there's the pings out. It's a much different story than it once was in the laning phase, my friend. Marauder learns the hard way. 40% already, a lot of damage coming out from the guys on Denial, but not enough to take out the tanky Cabrakan.
It was a pretty good ultimate to deny the agility dash coming out of Vetium. Gold Fury going to get started from Enemy, going to get spotted out by Shadowq and Xenotronics. Once they see Xeno, they're going to have to disengage on this.
There's the flip onto Shadowq. He's going to toss right into the fray. Xeno shows up, but PandaCat drops the ultimate. Xeno takes out Panda.
The patience from Xenotronics not showing himself around that corner. Baited out Shadowq also, allowing for a very easy kill.
Trouble. Athena ultimate channeled as well. Vetium going to pop up from above and behind the wall. PainDeViande under a tower, but it's just not safe. This tier 1 tower, Denial have all the tools they need to take it out. Will they commit? Looks like not. Denial want to go for the Gold Fury instead. The larger objective.
Exactly, the more beneficial objective during this downtime of PandaCat. They can get the tier 1 tower later on. This Gold Fury is way more important, especially if they can bait it out Enemy in an awkward position.
Khaos has the ultimate available to him. Gold Fury down 25%. Khaos waiting for it, and Denial see him, so they're not going to keep and be silly. Marauder, wow, already down to a quarter of HP. The burst out of Denial, very high. PainDeViande finds a little bit of a knockup and dashes away.
And with Marauder being that low, he's going to have to disengage. Varizial going to have to use his ultimate defensively, and Denial are looking very prone to getting this Gold Fury almost uncontested.
Half HP. Khaos still here. Steal is imminent. That's why everybody's focusing Khaos. He launches it, brings the Gold Fury down, and the final hit goes to Denial. So the credit on the Gold Fury goes to the correct team that started it up.
And now Benchy's going to try to zone 4 members available as PainDeViande is going to try to zone the remaining 4 members. And now
Enemy, they're looking for the kills, Totally.
they want them. They need them.
And that's what they're going to try and get. There's the pig. Beautiful ultimate pop by Mask in response to avoid the stun. And now PandaCat on the run. Getting the hits. Trapped is good. And 1 crit and 1 hit. That's going to be a kill for Panda. Following it up, 1 more. Panda. Double kill already. Trying to find the 3rd. And PainDeViande's going to clean 1 up for the Hunter. Mask, very low, still finds the kill onto Khaos. Sanctuary popped up by the Jing Wei. But Panda still able to find the hits. 2 kills, 3 kills in total. Almost a triple. And Panda looking good.
4 kills already on the favor of enemy. Even though Denial were able to get that Gold Fury, the Janus through space and time wasn't able to steal it, as we do see some emos coming out of enemy. Now they're going to be able to get this tier 1 tower successfully. They should be able to get this tier 2 if they decide to, but they're going to play it very safe right now.
Exactly. Enemy go ahead and they've earned that taunt real quick, I think, Totally. That team fight was... That had PandaCat's face all over it. You can see right away just what he was able to contribute to the team in that particular team fight, and it was lights out. I mean, this guy has been such a big part of enemy throughout the entire course of the season, especially today.
He's made his own style known in the SPL right now, and that's why the Artemis ban was prevalent into Game 1. However, with the other picks being a more dominant factor in that first game, that opened up the Artemis, that opened up the Janus as well for enemy.
And that's why I always say that Smite is so much more than a one-off game. You can't really look at the one-game scenario. And that's why it makes those one-game tiebreaker games so exciting, because it's all money on the table. It's really about how do you adapt to Game 1 and Game 2. Enemy went into their game before anticipating picking out picks that'll make you ban, right? So they opened this opportunity for PandaCat.
And now Denial are going to have to adapt to enemy doing this Gold Fury. Benchy teleports in the back, going to take a little bit of poke. Mask trying to find PandaCat, but he's going to disengage.
Shell already used by Denial. It's been a big tool that they've had at their disposal to create these opportunities. And now Mask up in the sky, looking for a target. He's going to find his teammates and help them out, but it's after Khaos has done the damage. It's a 4-on-5 at the moment. It's a 5-on-3 at the moment as Khaos winds up with a double kill. Mask in some trouble. He's slowed and he's gone. Triple for the Long Islander. Khaos looking strong, and his team's going to turn their focus onto the Fire Giant.
They banned out the Zeus the first game, and now enemy gets Janus the second, finding a triple kill. Yet again, another highlight play worthy game for Khaos right now, as Benchy's going to take a spill to PandaCat. A lot of late game damage so far from this Artemis and the Janus, and it's looking like enemy's going to come back into this game yet again twice in a row.
Last time around, enemy pulled some funny cards with the split push Bastet. This time around, it's the old-fashioned way, winning the team fights, translating that into objectives, and then transitioning into the lead. 27 minutes on the clock. The kills are all even. It's bad luck 13. And enemy sitting pretty. 2,000 gold up, looking to stretch it with a siege down the right side lane.
That last team fight specifically, Mask took a long time to decide where he wanted to land. He was thinking about landing potentially on PandaCat, but elected otherwise. And because of that hesitation, Xenotronics overextended just a little bit. Getting picked in the beginning of that team fight opened the door for the rest of enemy to find the kills.
3, 4, 5. That's the slash line in succession for the Janus. Khaos has this potential, and it's so much fun to watch. He's like a powder keg, where he sits there sort of like Xenotronics. He's usually just the reliable mid-mage. You never really see him go nuts until he does. We saw a glimpse of it, I think it was last week, where he just controlled 4 games in a row. And now this time around, early game not so much, mid-late game, it's Khaos' mind all over it. Mask knows, lands directly on him. Khaos finds a way out thanks to the ultimate, and Two members of enemy walk on through, safe and sound. PainDeViande or PandaCat drops the pig, and it'll give his team some room to move. Varizial's in the air. He's going to land, and he might be toast.
He's going to maybe have to sacrifice himself for the rest of his team to disengage, and that's fine in this situation. As long as the rest of your team survives, you're able to defend the tier 2 towers. You might have to give up tier 1 in the dueling, but at the end of the day, that's fine objective. You're going to lose that 500 gold, 100 to each member of Denial. It's not that bad.
Oh no, each member gets to buy a pot and award, right? Not that big of a deal, especially as we come closer and closer to the late game where the items are more and more expensive.
And what's interesting is that Denial are still able to hold despite enemy having Fire Giant. Tier 2 tower still stands beautiful engage from Mask, forcing the through space and time and a lot of members from enemy to take those portals to disengage and isolated, unfortunately, Varizial.
And that was that whole team fight for Denial was Mask, just finding the perfect opportunity to land on the opponent and get the right stun on the right target. Well done by Denial, and they need more plays like that if they want to take away this lead. They're only trailing by 3,000 gold. As we said, that's totally a lead that you can fight into, and Denial are looking to turn this around, playing with the Gold Fury and toying with enemy themselves.
Nice pluck away from the Thor ultimate. However, he's caught against the Tectonic Rift. The first victim is going to be PainDeViande.
And I love the positioning of the Jing pop-up right in front of the portal, knowing that anybody from enemy that walks on through is going to get knocked up and damage dealt to them. Marauder taunted out of the tremors, and PandaCat picks up one. The pig is out, can't find the third on the backside, and they're going to be running after that Shadowq. Blink, one shot, one kill. 2 kills for PandaCat after the isolation of the support. Well done by the Hunter. And enemy now leading by a whole slew, and they'll look towards the goal.
Gold Fury going to get started from enemy. PainDeViande sacrificing himself for 2 members. Game has been definitely turned up by enemy right now. Look at that graph.
The graph, so if you've seen me and Kret's show really on Mondays, right? What we do is behind us, there's just nothing. It looks like there needs to be a big old piece of art. That's the piece of art I want to put behind us. This is what a good Smite game looks like. Nice and even. One team gets a lead, the other team takes it away, and then just a launch to the future. Denial, 7,000 gold down, still totally relevant, can totally take this one away. It's not a 17,000 gold lead. It's not a 2-minute surrender. It's Denial and enemy fighting it out and finding the wins individually and as a team where they come. Love this style of Smite, man.
And right now, the only experience disadvantage for Denial is onto Shadowq at level 14, which might hurt him in the later stages of the game. Not having those natural base stats could make him an easier target for the rest of the enemy to blow up, especially when you have a late game Artemis with a red buff as well. You have a late game Janus who's going to be doing a lot of damage. Shadowq has to be very careful about when he decides to initiate with those dash taunts.
PandaCat looking for an initiation of his own. PainDeViande dashes away. Can't find much here on the right side. It's now playing very safe.
And that's something that Denial can try to take advantage of right now. Using that Jing way could be their way of the aggressive, countering the aggression coming out of enemy.
You notice what PandaCat crit for over there? 666. The devil's number. Definitely the devil to the opposition. Denial being targeted, and there it is. 2 kills for the Hunter, and he's still pushing forward. Enemy, they've got everything on their side of the game. And the push, and now Fire Giant has spawned. Enemy looking for the objective.
That was a really nice discipline play, not electing to take that last portal, being able to chase under the tier 2 tower. That could have potentially got some more kills. However, with a pluck, Benji's going to take a lot of damage from this Janus and Artemis.
Benji going towards the Marauder as you see the Cabrakan very low. Xenotronics finally puts a nail in his coffin. PainDeViande going to be forced out on the backside. He'll live, but it's a different story for Xenotronics. Stunned and gunned. Khaos got credit for that one off of the assist from the Hunter, and Varizial shows up as well. 16 assists for the jungle Arachne. With those kills, only 2 players are alive for Denial, and one of them is in the base. Enemy's going to start at the Fire Giant.
And now Denial are in a position to contest this. They do have 3 members trying to do something about this. Going to force enemy away. They're not going to be able to sneak Fire Giant, however. They still have to respect the fact that enemy is still relatively healthy, and they're in a position to do something about it. 4-on-4 right now for both these 2 teams.
Right there we saw the power of the dual lane picks for Denial. Vetium on the Jing and Shadowq on the Athena support. You saw Vetium use the passive to come right back into the fray, and then of course Athena's going to ultimate on him. As soon as we saw one player at the base, I said, okay, maybe it's a push onto the Fire Giant. Denial shows up with two people like, what's going on, bud? You really going to take this in front of us? And Enemy said, all right, fine, we're walking away. We're up a little bit.
Here comes that boy, you know?
Oh snap, what up?
Oh snap, what up?
Enemy leading by almost 10,000 gold. Denial trying to do the best they can to mitigate that. Just finding some farm where they can, but more importantly, denying the Fire Giant push to the opposition was one of the more important plays that Denial has made this game.
And right now, Enemy's just going to be very patient right now. They don't want to overextend too much because the potential dash taunt out of Athena into the Gust will put Enemy potentially in a really bad spot. Like if PainDeViande overextends just a little bit, Denial can easily take advantage of that with their late game Soul and their late game Jing Wei.
Yeah, knockups are very, very strong. You just can't deal with them as well as you can deal with some other crowd control options. So Vetium definitely has those at his disposal. A lot of poke coming out from Enemy as Denial inches forward.
And right now, did get spotted over the speed buff. Tried to steal that away. That would have been a little annoying for Varizial. So we do find a plug onto Shadowq.
Trap going to be off the mark, but some of the poke from PandaCat will be totally fine. Denial now pushing a little bit more forward. You can see the ultimate out of Chaos. 3 for the money. And Enemy now pushing forward. They have chased out Denial by way of a single ultimate. PainDeViande gets credit off of the assist from the Mage. Marauder gets credit off of the assist from the Mage. Pushing up the right lane. Enemy take one move from Chaos, and he's going to take one for himself. There's the kill for Chaos. Well done. 21 in total for Enemy. And now all of a sudden, what once looked like a Fire Giant push totally looks like a Phoenix and a game-winning push. Benji gets pushed down. The tower's in trouble. Can't find the kill, so Enemy not going to go for the win. But if Enemy found that kill onto one more player, that was a Titan push.
That's all it takes is one through space and time, and they might find another kill depending on how aggressive Marauder wants to play. Does find it, so return kill after losing PandaCat finds Benji in return. Did Enemy thinking about potentially ending, but going to think otherwise. Just going to disengage right now.
With PandaCat down, that Titan push seems a lot less likely. Like I said, if Enemy winds up with the kill, they get those 3 kills off of the hit from Chaos. They wind up with the 4th kill. Benji's a tough target, but if they wind up with the 4th kill, that's a push into the Titan room. You've got enough space. Maz can do a good job, but he's not going to be able to successfully defend against 5 individuals. Taking out PandaCat, such intelligent play from Denial. Enemy can walk in there with the kill on a Benji without Marauder. They can do it without Varizial. They can do it without Pain. They probably can even do it without Chaos, just because of the damage that PandaCat's able to output. But taking out the dependable, consistent, overtime damage that PandaCat's able to put out with a Hunter, that's the important target to take out, and Denial defend against the siege from Enemy because of target selection.
Late
well
game
done.
Artemis is so much to deal with. Having that Deathbringer online, the passive steroid giving her so much attack speed as well. It's going to delay Enemy from doing anything right now. They're not even going to elect to start up this Fire Giant right now. Just going to wait for the Artemis to be back up before they even think about doing it. And just they're controlling these teamfights. They're just so successful. That last teamfight, obviously through space and time, hitting 3 members helps. But the one before that, we saw the ultimate out of the Cabrakan just pinning people against that wall. And then PandaCat was such a huge factor, just, you know, like target practice for him. There's nowhere for them to go.
PandaCat's so accurate on this Hunter. Chaos is going to get poked a little bit, walked right on through the portal. Such good map knowledge, understanding how far that portal's going to take him, not opting for the small ones. And now Denial are on the front foot. They're able to push up a little bit. PainDeViande going to be seen as he's backing.
And Varizial going to push up the mid lane. Those traps from Artemis were popped by Denial using the overhead kick, and the Athena just absorbing 2 of them right now. Jing Wei looking for a potential knock-up initiation for somebody, potentially to get taunted as well, but Enemy thinking otherwise. Just going to play very careful about every little positioning for every single member. Even Varizial around the side there, waiting for somebody to get alone so that he can come in from the backside and then just isolate one specific target.
Getting rid of some of the vision as well that Denial has at their disposal. Fire Giant has started, already down to 75% HP. But one more time, it's not about the objectives, it's about the kills. Mask lands on the backside looking for the targets, but he can't find them, and Marauder takes out Mask, Panda takes out Vetium, 2 kills already for the enemy squad. Varizial winds up with one of his own. This whole team fight is disjointed, Toli. In fact, this team is disjointed. Denial have 2 members alive, it's Benji and it's Xenotronics. Enemy all alive, PandaCat looking for the kills on the right side of the map. You can see Varizial there trying to chase down Benji, everyone else looking towards Xeno. And enemy gonna filter in towards the Titan room. Marauder finds the stun onto Xenotronics. Marauder finds the kill onto Xenotronics, and enemy find the kill onto the Titan. Enemy, congratulations, we'll see you in Sweden. DreamHack's birth secured.
Well done and well executed. Just chaos, man. The highlight reel potential. Every time you see him with Janus, you're going to see something spectacular out of him.
It's so exciting. Like I said, Khaos has been this quiet mid laner for so long. He's been this just backbone role player, dependable, whatever word you want to throw at him. And then at the pretty much the midway point throughout this season, Khaos just decided he wanted to be one of the best mids in the world. And we've just seen this come out of him on this Janus time and time again.
And it's also his comfortability with PainDeViande and with the rest of his team comp right now. He just loves playing with PainDeViande to the point where he wanted to stay with him. He trusts PainDeViande to lead the team very successfully, and the all-in strategy that Enemy always executes has been so efficient.
It's so much fun watching Enemy because we've mentioned time and time again that they play as a unit. They always set each other up for success, but in playing as a unit, you constantly see these multi-kills. Marauder winds up with a double here, and now you see a multi-kill coming out from Panda. It's all about setting up the team. Nobody is looking for these pentakills, but everybody is looking to set up everybody for these doubles and these triples. Again, Panda, 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 just over and over again, finding the kills, whether it's the hard way or the flashy way.
And he loves picking up that blink level 12 at that last engagement also. Denial this is the one with the Cabrakan ulti, and there was just nowhere for Denial to go under that Cabrakan ultimate. Also, really good discipline from Enemy, not taking that last portal.
Wonderful shot from Khaos again, finding a kill in the distance, and then he's going to find a kill shotgun style with the Vortex. Again, just the way this team sets each other up, Khaos sets himself up right here and winds up with the trip skis, and it's just so much fun to watch these guys, man. This team Enemy has gone from a team that grabbed a lot of relatively unknown players, went to Worlds, had a lot of people still doubting them, and then what happens is Pain does it all over again. He grabs a bunch of players that are relatively unknown, and guess what? They wind up on top of things in this first split, heading to DreamHack. We've got PainDeViande, the captain, the brainchild, the general, the support, and basically everything for Enemy. Congratulations on you and your squad. I'll see you in Sweden, buddy. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good despite the little sickness of the recent week. Been trying to play consistently, but it's found very little success in this set, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, so for you personally, you've set yourself up to allow yourself that, right? We saw you leading the team earlier on, but recently, in recent weeks, all of the players that you've acquired at the beginning of the season have sort of come to light themselves. We see Marauder and Varizial and PandaCat really just sort of take on the limelight. As the brainchild behind this team, the guy that found all this talent, what's that like watching all of your teammates sort of rise to prominence?
I don't teach my teammates how to lend their abilities or how to make decisions to some extent. I teach them how to follow, I'm going to say orders, and I'm going to sound like a general, but it's kind of like that actually. I'm basically telling them what I want to happen, and they decide how they want this to happen moving forward. Now, if you watch like the first game, I think both games I was kind of off the whole sets. It feels like Scream kind of picked it back up, especially game one. Usually we have strategies going on, like the split push strategies was very effective, but most of it came because Scream decided that using the strategy, you wanted to split push on one side, makes them move, he teleports another side, takes another tower, or take fire giant, or this or that. It's not necessarily only myself, which is very satisfying because I can see the growth from day one where we went against LG and we beat them with that Odin Zeus combination, and then now where my teammates make plays that go alongside our strategies rather than just follow the plan from Pain.
Scream being Varizial, the juggler on that Bastet earlier in game number one. later on playing Arachne in game number 2. I mean, he looked fantastic, and something we noted during the picks and bans is that you guys have sort of taken a step away from the traditional and have identified what makes you guys succeed. PandaCat routinely pulling out this Artemis. We see the Cabrakan on Marauder a lot. Talk to me a little bit about enabling your players to play whatever they feel fit.
Well, we try a lot of things in scrims, especially ADC wise and jungle side. We try like a wide variety of characters, and still to this day, we only play like a couple of them in the SPL.
Ooh.
We have a lot, especially for DreamHack coming out. We have a lot of stuff that we didn't show because we're not sure if it's as good as we think it is, or because we don't want to show it because it can be a pocket strat that nobody can ban it because they don't know about it. So I'd say variety in our scrims would be the key to success, I think, here.
Spicy picks, I like it. I know you guys remain consistent, however, with your communications when you're aggressive and you're in the lead. However, talk to me about the communication when you were behind a little bit in game number 1 and 2 compared to when you're usually ahead in different games.
Well, I think for these set especially, like I said, I've been like a little bit sick. I've been really off today. Well, today and like I guess our last scrims series, which would be against I think Thor. But you guys don't see that obviously. My team kind of picked it back up. When we were a bit behind, they had faith in whatever I would call, but at the same time, by themselves, they know that I'm a little bit off, so they kind of have to step it up a little bit, which they did.
Yes.
Fortunately for us, they really actually played fantastically, and that kind of covered up for it. When it comes to being behind, usually in that kind of sets, what we try to do is look for a single, very specific thing. Let's say, look for a pick on Athena which dash taunts, like bees or taunt, and then turn on her killer and reset. Take that as momentum and go into the next team fights using that momentum. Because when you lose a guy for free, usually you're kind of a bit sad and morale for the enemy team. So play around that, and then based off that, next team fight is gonna be better, and then the next one is gonna be even better if we win the second team fight, and then Shadowq. So I guess that would be my answer to this question.
So last time we spoke to a member of your team, it was Khaos, and he spoke very highly of you and your ability to go ahead and lead the team and follow orders, as you put it, General Pain, reporting for duty. Different teams have different cultures, right? You, of course, leading from the top down. What kind of cultures does that lead to your team? Is a fun environment? Are you guys joking around and having fun, or is it all business all the time and nose to the grindstone, no laughs allowed?
I feel like we have a really nice environment. My players among themselves play other games out of scrims, which is really nice and productive for the environment.
Yeah.
As when it comes to scrims, I'm a very difficult person to play with. Hence why Vetium and Saul wanted to part ways with me. I feel that's my personal opinion on the case.
Mhm.
It's very hard to cope with what I want because you have to literally kind of obey my idea, and if you don't, it clashes. And sometimes in scrims it does happen where a player will have a different idea, where I'm open to suggestions, but when inside the game the call varies because that person has another idea.
Mhm.
Sometimes it causes conflicts. Not that often because usually, obviously, people listen to what I'm saying. But I'd say every now and then it happens. We manage it because I think we have one of the best team atmosphere of all the teams right now, and so why part of our success I feel.
Mhm.
But like I said, it's definitely something that happens every now and then. But it's not a factor I feel in our learning process.
Excellent, excellent. It sounds like you guys have a lot of things figured out. I won't say everything because you still got to win at DreamHack. Now of course, shout outs and everything. But if there's is there anything that you feel like the people at home don't know about your team that you want everybody to know?
Probably Marauder. I feel like a lot of people undervalue Marauder's abilities to play the game. I feel like a lot of people do so because in team fights you will listen to what I say. If
Mhm.
I say Marauder zone and die for the team, you will, and that doesn't necessarily look good for him. But for a team perspective, it's flawless. Like you want this to be a thing. You want your soliners to obey what you're saying and to listen to the call, even if it makes them look good, bad. Sorry, to not override the call. So
Sad
and
but true.
also shout outs to Marauder for getting that solo kill first game because everyone was making the memes of him getting slowed by Baskin. So he took it back. Grass Marauder, well played. You're the best.
Excellent. Any shout outs you want to give to anybody at home?
Shout outs to Enemy for the support. Shout outs to everybody for thinking that backdooring is not a legit strategy and that it's not part of a plan, even though it is. And shout outs to all my teammates for being supportive of me despite my little bit of a downtime for this set.
Awesome. Well, thank you and congratulations one more time. That is the captain, that is the support, and that is the brainchild behind Enemy and everything that they've been able to do this season and the season of yesteryear. This season, however, Enemy again going to be showing up at LAN, this time in Sweden. The first team in North America to reach 20 total wins, 20-6 means that Enemy will actually be in first place as Thor winds up with 19-7. So 2 teams from North America will go ahead and secure their berth. Oh, Enemy
It's
now
magic.
in first place. Look at that.
Look at that.
2 teams from North America will now qualify to DreamHack. That third spot's open though, Toli. Eager, Luminosity, and Denial all fighting for it.
They're fighting for it, 16-8 with Eager, so they're looking like they're going to be the team to probably secure that one out.
What a fun day, honestly, man. Being here, just being here and hanging out, it was a lot of fun. Getting to see that last set. What was your favorite part of today?
That triple through space and time hit at the end. I stood up from my chair. I was
Yep.
like, whoa.
we both just went pretty nuts, man. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us here today. For everybody at hi-rez, including myself, all the commentary staff, Peckies, Jan, and everybody else behind the scenes, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and we'll see you on Wednesday for Esports Weekly.